Everybody loves a good vacation, man. And the Cleveland Cavaliers have certainly deserved this vacation as we get on to All-Star break. The unofficial first half, even though we're way past the half point of the NBA season, but the unofficial break. You sit back, trade deadline is done, and you start to compile a little bit. You start to look back and you say, all right, where are we at? Where are we standing? And I think for a lot of people, if I told you you were at the 2 seed, multiple games up on both the Bucks and the 76ers and the Knicks, you're only trailing the Celtics, I think everybody'd sign up for that. The streak the Cavs have gone on, what they have shown this season, and really, I think, changing a lot of opinions of people in this town on what this team can do. I'm not talking about the national people. I know AC and Doherty got a little mad at some of the national people last night, but nonetheless, we sit here with the Cavs in an amazing position as we hit the unofficial break for the NBA. So with that in mind, we're going to pass out some grades. We're going to look back on the first half with the Cavs. We got that. I got NFL rookie grades for the Browns. We don't want to get to that one. Donovan Mitchell's future, more with LeBron. We got Time Up. We got the morning update. And your favorite Seinfeld episode. The one episode I wanted to pull through, Ryan. Needs some help this morning. We'll talk about all of it on a beautiful Thursday edition right here on Big Play. Welcome to the show, everybody. I am Matt Fontana. He is Ryan Tyler. Good morning. Happy to have you alongside. Bro, does anybody have a remedy for a clogged ear? Does anybody got anything for me? My left ear. So kids, anybody with parents you know, they bring home this sickness. They get it. You take care of them, they get better, they give you the illness, and now your sick parents having to deal with kids.
I've been feeling like poop lately, man.
Something's going around, man. And February is always the sick month.
I'm just so
Everybody's
nauseous.
always like this. No, dude, it's everything right now.
I'm so dizzy.
It's everything.
I feel like I'm pregnant.
It's going right now. I don't know how that I know how my wife felt twice. Not fun. I know how that goes. If anybody out there has a remedy for a clogged ear, just quick to start, I need it because I can't hear out of my left ear. It's messing me up. My equilibrium's so on. Help me out. Send me something on the Twitter or in Twitch chat there. Ryan's all over that. A clogged ear remedy. I need something. For it. Cavs gave me a little something last night. They mess around and get wins. And I think last night, after what Donovan had said about the game earlier in the week, you come out poor and you deserve to lose. That was the 76ers game. Okay, they came out horribly last night. You let the Bulls get up to a 17-point lead, and you still come back and get a win. And I think about a lot with the Cavs, because, again, on today, we're going to post this question coming up. I want your grades for JB. I want your grade for the team. I want your favorite game. I want your unsung hero of the first half for the Cavaliers. We get to all that. We're going to cast our votes on that, and I'd love to hear your tweets on it. At Matt Fontana Show, at Matt Fontana 83, Twitch channel as well. But I think about last night, and there's two schools of thought. There's a concern that the Cavs are maybe not all mentally sharp to start a game. And you say, okay, that'll cost you eventually. I kind of maybe subscribe to what we should have known. They're getting ready for a nice break for the All-Star, and they deserve it. And thankfully, we played last night. We only got a couple games tonight, and then everybody's off for the weekend. Donovan Mitchell's got to go play, and I think you'll get him his break when the Cavs return. But Darius Garland, and they talked a lot about this on the broadcast, guy lost 12 pounds with a wire jaw shut, right? He's getting back into it. He had to fight the sickness that we're all dealing with last night. So I think about the break that this Cavs team needs. But the concern may be that they are starting games slow. And I want to flip that to a positive. And I want to say this. When I see a Cavs team that frankly has every excuse to say, you know what, we've been on this streak, we got a break coming up, this team came up and got us, right? And the fact that the Cavs fight, and the fact that the Cavs at times got stops when they needed it, got buckets when they needed, that's a little practice for the playoffs. And it's different because you're playing a Bulls team that, trust me, they're going to make maybe the play-in tournament, and you don't expect them to do much. But I think about the Cavs' mentality in games like that, where they start slow, and they still find a way to win. Now, the negative could be that you screw around and you find out, right? You pull that against some of the top teams, you're not going to win those games. But I think also that the Cavs have entered a position where they are one of the top teams, and they have that belief. Sometimes they play down to their opponents. And I think a lot of teams do that. I think there's a lot of teams that fall into that trap. So I'm not overly concerned about a game like that last night. And they were able to get a win, and they enter the break at an amazing time. So the tweet is out at Matt Fontana Show. We're going to run through all of the first half for the Cleveland Cavaliers. So here's what we want. Number one, your grade for the team. Overall, what grade would you give the team? Oh, you put out just
I started with JB.
Oh, you're going to put these out individually.
Or do we want, well,
Oh, I was going to say just one poll, like one thing of boom, 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 and everybody can reply.
oh, okay.
I'll start with JB. It's already out there. I'll retweet it. So start with JB. Send another tweet. Your favorite game in the first half, your unsung hero for the Cavs, and grade for the team. You just want to do the grade for the team and put that out and ask for everybody to respond? You run the Twitter, Ryan. You can do it as any way you please. At Matt Fontana Show. Back up over 500. Thank you for all the follows there. Drop us a follow on Twitch, Instagram, at Matt Fontana Show. We're all there. So let's start right there with JB because he sent it out. You know, it's funny. We talked yesterday about Brian Windhurst and his Hoop Collective podcast. And Windy said that there was a point that JB almost got fired. And I think it was funny. Preparing for my favorite game, I ran through the Cavs schedule. And I take you back to December 14th. We had just lost to the Celtics back-to-back. And the Cavs fell to 13-12. And then correct me if I'm wrong. But was it not that next day that that Mobley and Garland got hurt or announced that they got hurt and they would be out? Since then, 13-12 on December 14th, you are now entering the break at 36-17. 36-17. Is that 23-5 that you win in that stretch? I'm bad at math. I think that's right.
I'm no better.
23-5 on the way out for the second half of December, January, and February, or half February. 2 months of basketball. You turn that around. And I think a lot of that has to do, certainly with the roster. We know that. But JB Bickerstaff, who, there's this thing with JB. And I love JB Bickerstaff. I think he's really good as a head coach. It's the sense is he the guy to take you over the hump? If we got to this level, if you got to this point, do you believe that JB Bickerstaff is the right guy to win playoff series, win meaningful ones, to get to the NBA Finals? And I have to say yes. I'm a JB Bickerstaff believer. So when I go vote on our Twitter question this morning, Ryan,
People are already trolling, Matt.
I don't even want, and you put D in there and you say you're drunk. I don't know how. Like, there's going to be people that are naysayers on him. Dude, the job that he did.
We're getting
The
trolled.
job. Why?
Like, if you vote D, it's clearly a troll.
Well, it's open. People can do as they please. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. You don't even entertain that.
No, what do you mean?
I'm just asking the question. Like, JB, he's not in that situation where you're like, all right, there's no doubt about it, right? How could he be? It's still early in things. I think this stretch has told me a lot about this team. I think it has told me more about JB Bickerstaff and the belief that the organization has in him, because that was the easy answer. When things were going bad, I'm certain, and again, Windy kind of said, they were hovering on that button, man. They were ready to push that button, and you could have had Doc Rivers in here. God, what a bad idea that'd have been. You could have been hovering that button. They were. And they held off, I think, for the better. And the NBA, I've had this hot take in a long time, like, as far as importance of coaches in different sports, like, basketball, it's just, like, I could coach LeBron. I know, and I know it's hard because with Ty Lue, you needed somebody LeBron was going to respect, and you're calling these plays and all that kind of stuff. I'm talking more about the culture and keeping it on the rails. And that's why I voted A for JB Bickerstaff, for navigating everything that he had to in this first half of the season. You came out firing. This isn't we're in the 6th seed. Remember when those guys went down And all we said was, keep it around 500. They exceeded all our expectations. You got to give JB Bickerstaff your credit for that. You've got to give him a chunk of that pie. Not all of it, but a big chunk of it. And I think where you go from here will tell the story on what JB's future is with this team. And we know there's a lot out there with the future. I didn't want to bring this up, but we'll get to it about Donovan Mitchell's future because that's something that we're going to have to deal with for a long time around here. Okay, we're just going to have to. We'll get to that in just a second. Ryan, cast your vote. JB Bickerstaff. You get an A for you?
Yeah.
Did you give it an A? Without a doubt?
How could you not? I mean, okay.
I voted A.
Yeah.
I voted A.
I'll sit here and I'll entertain a B grade for the sake of it because, like, A is, I guess, kind of perfect. But
we can grade on a curve here.
But
That's the only reason I graduated college.
Voting C and D kind of, I mean, I'd love to hear somebody's argument for that.
It'd say it's the players more than the coach. I'm just trying to come to the other side of it. I'm just trying to play a little devil's advocate here.
Even then,
you could say it's more the players. Can you really get him out about rotations? Does he fall in love with I don't know. I mean, that's kind of the conflicting thing is how do you really, like, football coaches, trust me, I know this. When they call plays, it's easy to get done and go, all right, you screwed that up or this was good or that kind of stuff. Basketball, I maybe because it's not like I know a little more football than I do basketball, but like I think it's harder to grade basketball. Who would you say are the best coaches out there, right? Spo, because he won a bunch of rings. Steve Kerr, because he won a bunch of rings.
Eric Spoelstra is the best coach in the NBA.
Greg Popovich. I'm a big Nick Nurse fan. Well, look where the 76ers are at.
Yeah.
And how they deal with it. And it's any sport. If you don't have the players, you don't have the horses to get it done, what are you expecting to do, right? But, like JB, I think Cavs fans like him. I do. So
I don't know. Cavs fans just for some reason, or not Cavs, sorry, Cleveland fans are just enamored with firing coaches.
No, I don't think it's that. It's the belief we want our teams to win. So the question comes back to always, is this the right guy to go win? And sometimes you don't know until you don't know. I will tell you another thing that a lot of people don't like about JB Bickerstaff, and that was the Knicks series. And I go, well, what do you want him to do? He can't go back in time and change how you played against the Knicks last year. So some people have that stuck in their craw about him. And the only way for him to change that is, frankly, to do what he's doing. Win a bunch of games. The thing is, you're not going to be able, for the negative people out there, you're not going to be able to cleanse your JB Bickerstaff issues until they go win a couple playoff series. And that's fine. And I understand that. Because we've kind of entered the fun time of being a basketball franchise. The regular season doesn't mean very much. Now, it means a lot because the Cavs went on this run. And they weren't really expected to do what they did. So that's fun. But there are people out there that'll give credit more to the players. They'll give more credit. And, I mean, I understand it. I get it. But JB deserves a lion's share of that, I think, as well. All right, before we get into all of our other grades, because, again, here's what we want to know. Your favorite game of the season, your Cavs' unsung hero thus far, and what grade would you give the team overall? So we'll get into that in just a second. I bring this up from The Ringer, though. Howard Beck put this article out yesterday, and it was a lot of LeBron stuff, and we'll get into that. The 76ers called the Lakers about LeBron, and the Lakers go, sure, we'll take Joel Embiid off your hands. And they go, never mind. This LeBron stuff's getting crazy. It's getting, like, we put the poll out, now there's teams that they are all in to go get Bronny to court LeBron. Could you see a world where a team gets Bronny just to hold it up? Like, knowing that LeBron's future, I think, in part is tied to playing with his son. And I think that's a really cool thing. I know the NBA wants that. That's TV ratings. That's a storyline. It's a great one to be had. What if some random ass team drafts Bronny, knowing that even they know LeBron's not coming? Say the Charlotte Hornets overdraft Bronny just on the premise that they're going to trade him to the team that LeBron is going to go to, and they can get a higher return. I almost look at it like a stock. They're going to overbuy on it knowing that you can fleece somebody on a trade. I think that is a very interesting part on how this offseason goes for the NBA and where Bronny goes. But back to Howard Beck. So on The Ringer, he went around and he spoke to a lot of Eastern Conference executives. And I take a lot of this stuff with a grain of salt because whenever you get reports or articles of speaking to unnamed sources, which I'm not asking them to be named, but that's a good insight to how, how the inner circles are thinking, right? But you also have to remember, and I want to say this before I tell you what Howard Beck heard from an Eastern Conference exec. You got to remember that sometimes these are opponents, and these are people that have biases against a team or a player for one reason or another. So we got to sometimes take these with a grain of salt. Here's what Howard Beck heard. If the Cavs, and this is straight out of his article, if the Cavs, currently second in the East, flame out in the first round again, will Donovan Mitchell ask out? Or if Mitchell, slated for free agency in 2025, balks at a contract extension, as rivals expect, will the Cavs preemptively trade him? Here's the line from an Eastern Conference executive. There's no doubt he's leaving when his contract ends. That's from an Eastern Conference executive talking to Howard Beck on The Ringer. That could be an executive for the Celtics that hope nothing more than Donovan Mitchell leave the Cavaliers, and they're not a contender. So I could say that. Now, the other side, that could truly be the belief. And I see this smoke, and I see that the Lakers are waiting for this, or this team is waiting for that. And I've always gone into the bunker of, I'm in the here, I'm in the now, this team is playing really well, and we'll figure everything else out down the road. I do believe, and I trust Kobe Altman as the steward of this franchise, as his job to maybe make the hard decision, but make the one that is in the best interest for this franchise. Now, you and I have differed on this show before, Ryan, where I said if Donovan Mitchell left the Cavaliers tomorrow, I would still view that trade as a success. And you think I'm crazy for that.
That's crazy.
Because when you traded for him, you expect playoff series wins, Eastern Conference, all that kind of stuff, right? But for that trade, maybe I look at it more of what the Jazz are. Lauri Markkanen's a fine player. Colin Sexton's a fine player. Ochai Agbaji got traded again. We just saw him the other night. There's no part of me that regrets that trade. So when I come from it from that standpoint, there's no vindication that I need on making this work. I think it already has. Now, if they decide, and these are conversations that they will have with Donovan Mitchell, now is not the time, okay? And I'm sure dude, write it down. Trade deadline, the All-Star break, there's going to be stuff out next week of these guys talking to this, and we talked about tampering on the show yesterday, and players can talk and all that other kind of stuff, whatever. But there will be some sense by the end of the season of where the Cavs stand with Donovan Mitchell. Again, from Howard Beck, executives expecting to leave. That's what they think. I think the door is still open. And that's why this playoff run is so important for the Cavs. To show Donovan Mitchell you can do it here. That you can win here with this team. The money is the money. He's going to get a max contract no matter what. And the Cavs will make that work. But those are things where, I guess, Ryan, I'm content that I just believe the Cavs will do the right thing here. Whether it's trading him, if need be, whether it's re-signing him, I'm confident in the team that we have, and I have a belief in Kobe Altman that they're going to do the right thing. Am I being naive here? Am I being blind on this?
How would they trade him?
They just trade him this offseason. If he comes, let's just go down that rabbit hole for a second.
He was a free agent after this year.
At 2025. He's got one more year.
Oh.
He's got one more year.
Oh.
But the thing is,
why are people, I don't know.
Because you would not want to enter a lame duck season with Donovan Mitchell. And I guess you could trade him at the trade deadline. The smarter thing to do would be to trade him this offseason. He's got one more year. One more year. And then, and I think there's even a player option after that. But he's got one more year. If nothing changes, he's coming back to the Cavs next year. He's got one more year. He signed a 5-year deal. He's under contract. This is what it is. He is under contract next year for $35 million, which is severely underpaid, in my opinion, for Donovan Mitchell. He then has a player option for 2025, 2026. Well, he will most likely, no chance in hell, he doesn't decline that. So he can re-sign a deal. You would need to make a decision before that. You don't want to go into the season. I hate putting it this way, but it's just true. one of two things are going to happen this offseason. They're going to trade Donovan Mitchell or he's going to sign an extension with the Cavs. That's my opinion on it. I think that's what's going to have to happen here. And these executives could have the vibe that they think he's going to leave. There's still a lot that could change. There's still a lot in this season that can prove to Donovan, because again, this is still Donovan's decision. It's still his. And I always came back with, even if he left, I'm not regretting it. I'm not regretting any of it. And I just trust Kobe Altman that he'll do the right thing and get the right picks back or get the right players back and keep building this team up. Am I wrong? Maybe I put too much on Kobe Altman here. I don't know. You tell me.
Well, so you said you were fine if the Cavs don't win a playoff series, like with the trade still, if we get nothing in return.
I guess that would be a clip to come back and tell me about how I feel if we got bounced out in the first round against the Bulls or something like that. I'd be upset. I'm putting it on that you're going to win a first round series. I don't think you're losing to the Bulls in 7. I don't think you're losing to the Hawks in 7. I'd like to stay away from Orlando. That'd be nice, I guess. The Heat, I believe you're going to win that series. Then second round Eastern Conference Finals, all that still has to be played out. But I don't know. For what he's brought to this team, it's worked. At the end of the day, too, you got the best player in the draft or in that trade. And I'm boiling this down to fantasy football, which is a different world. But what do they always say? Did you get the best player in the trade? Did you get the best player? And for what Donovan has done for this team already, I'm good. It's good. I think everything worked out. There's no part of me that regrets it. So I'll have to see how it goes. I just thought, again, Eastern Conference executives going, he might leave. Sure, he might. He might. I don't know. But if that's the belief, then so be it. We got time to turn this around and figure it out. All right, Ryan, let's cast our votes on our poll this morning up at Matt Fontana Show. Your favorite game thus far, your Cavs unsung hero for the first half, and what grade would you give the Cavs overall on the season? So let's start with your favorite game. And I was running through the Cavs schedule, and I think here are some of the games that I think could be in contention for it, okay? Just to give everybody kind of the opening realm of it. Early in the season, you beat New York, okay? You beat Golden State twice. November 5th, November 11th. You beat them 115-104 and 118-110. Other marquee wins. You beat the Denver Nuggets 121-109. You then beat Philly in overtime when they were still Philly. That Dallas win. That Dallas win was good. 113-110. Milwaukee, you lost the first one, came back and beat them. They were missing some guys. That's in there. I come back to that LA Clippers game a couple of weeks ago when they got that win over the Clippers here at home. They wanted to get that win bad. But I got to tell you, Ryan, I think I go back to those the 2 wins early in the season against Golden State. And I don't know if I buy Golden State being as good as they are, and people give me crap for that, saying I'm biased, sure. I'm torn. I'm torn between one of those Golden State wins early in the year and this Clippers win a couple of weeks ago. Those were the 2. But it's interesting that, do you remember last year when we beat the Celtics in, November? And that was, hands down, the biggest win.
Is that overtime?
I think it was, yeah. I don't know if we quite have that. We have a lot of solid wins. I don't know if the Cavs have their marquee win yet. I think I'm going to go the Golden State wins early in the season. What about you?
I'd probably go the Clippers.
Clippers win. I love that win. That was a good win.
Because they were what? They were on a... I think that at the time they were 15-1 in their last 16 or something like that.
Yeah. You got Donovan's 45-point game in the win over the Nets. Could be a favorite for you. The 45er against Detroit. It's a little bit less there for you. Any of those ones count, so vote on that. Next up, your unsung hero for the Cavs in the first half.
Can I say Jarrett Allen? Is that allowed to say?
I don't know about
But hear me out, though.
Yeah, all right, sure.
Hear me out. Would you not say going into this season, Jarrett Allen was the 4th best player on the roster?
Yes, nobody expected to do what he did.
So how can I not consider him an unsung hero?
Yeah.
He's been arguably our second, not even arguably, he has been our second best player.
Yes, without a doubt.
So am I allowed to say Jarrett Allen? Or is that a cop-out?
I'll allow. I was kind of looking more of the next tier guys.
Sure. All right, well, then you go, I'll think.
Sam Merrill. That's a real unsung guy. You shot 44 threes in a month? Who saw that coming? Craig Porter Jr., I think, counts. I would have said Max Strus. Kind of fallen off. I think there's a world that George Niang got some votes in this.
I got one.
You go ahead. Go ahead with your. Oh, I thought you
Why?
were gonna rip on George Niang this morning.
No,
You're off the minivan train.
I'm off
here.
the minivan train, but
You're off
I wasn't
of it.
gonna rip on him by any
That's
means.
fine.
Dean Wade. Dean Wade.
He has shut me up, man.
He shut me
Shout
up.
out to Justin Rowan.
He shut me up. Dean Wade shut me up. His defense has been stellar.
You know, he sent a tweet a little while ago where he goes, "You can't if you're talking bad on Dean Wade, you don't watch these games." And I go, there was a point that I was talking bad about Dean Wade, and he shut me up. He shut me up. So I'll listen to Dean Wade. You know, there was a point that I think Tristan Thompson would have got some votes on this, like elevating his stuff. And again, I'm taking out Mobley, Garland. You want to put Allen in that's fine. But for some reason, Sam Merrill. I think for what he provided and what he's still able to do for this team, I think that was my vote there. Final one, Ryan, your grade for the team in the first half of the season. It's got to be an A.
Yeah, as a whole unit.
It's got to be an A.
Especially like if people are
gotta be an A.
The players the credit over JB, then yeah, it's got to be an A.
It's got to be
Cavaliers.
an A. I think it's got to be 100%. I think has to be an A for how this team goes. So vote on that on Twitter at Matt Fontana Show, at Matt Fontana3. I got a text in the inbox. You're not getting my phone number on this show. Best win, either the Clippers win or the Bucks win in Milwaukee. I think those are probably two of the favorites. I think I'm kind of leaning towards the Clippers, man. Because think about that. I know it was a home game. They wanted to win that game bad. And they were on a road trip. It was towards the end. But you could tell the way Ty Lue set that game up with how he had Harden and Paul George and all that, the way that Kawhi was, they wanted to win that game bad. You took their best shot, and you still won. And did they not win by 10?
I think 8.
I think, or something close to that, right? 10. They won 118 to 108. That's it. 28 points, 17 boards for Allen, 28 points for Donovan Mitchell in that game, 12 assists for Donovan as well.
B. Skrills gives JB Bickerstaff a B+.
Okay, I'll listen to that. I mean, again, I think it's relative. It's got to be high. I think it's got to be pretty close and high there for JB Bickerstaff, but I'm not going to rip people when it comes to if they want to see more from JB Bickerstaff. So vote on that. All on Twitter, at Matt Fontana Show, at Matt Fontana83. Let's flip over to NBA Power Rankings as we get ready to go for the weekend. We do have 3 games tonight, so some of this could change. But we start up top. Boston, number 1. I don't think they're going anywhere with that. Minnesota jumps all the way up to number 2 from 6. Number 3, Ryan Tyler.
Really? Wow.
Your Cleveland Cavaliers.
Wow.
Up from 5.
3.
Dave McMenamin writes, Cleveland's 9-game winning streak came to an end on Monday with Darius Garland's 3 falling short. We know.
Damn.
Well, that's how he starts. I don't know.
No, I'm talking about like just the fact that they're
3.
Yeah.
Winners of 17 of their past 20 games. The Cavs have charged up the Eastern Conference standings to number 2. With a soft schedule over the next few weeks, games against the Bulls twice, win 1. Magic, Sixers without Embiid, the Wizards, the Mavericks are a soft team to play. Interesting. And the Pistons. They should be able to create space between themselves and those below them. That's from Dave McMenamin. 3. You're ahead of the Clippers at 4. The Nuggets at 5. The Thunder at 6. Dude, Milwaukee's all the way down to 7. Isn't that crazy that 6 of the top teams in the power rankings, only 2 of them are from the East? And it's also a little bit of like a change, which I'm happy how things have played out. Ryan, my goal is now, while it's an unattainable goal, I think, I want to chase down the Celtics. I'm not actually worried about the 76ers or the Bucks or the Knicks chasing us down. I'm more forward thinking here. I'm like, guys, with the schedule that you have, I think we try to get after Boston here. And it's relative of changing the seeding and the playoffs and all that kind of stuff. And you got, what, a 5-game hole to make up? 6. Boston plays tonight. Best of luck to... Or Boston beat Brooklyn last night. Boston had played tonight. Milwaukee plays.
They made Brooklyn look like an AAU team.
There's some bad basketball teams, man. And I think the divide, it's the divide of haves and have-nots in the NBA. It's always been there. But, I'm talking about teams that are in the 5 and 6 seed that I think are suspect now. You know, there's your bottom feeders, the Hornets and the Wizards and the Pistons and all that. But, I don't know, man. And that's the nice thing about the Cavs. I think you can make some real moves here. I think you can. I'm so solely focused on getting after the Celtics now. I think you built a cushion. Every game you play for this team, you can have the legitimate reason of saying, we're going to chase down the number 1 seed. A motivation for this team is through the roof. And again, it kind of comes back to we were talking about the Bulls game last night. Sometimes their mentality of not coming out for games, I think this is suiting them well. Where they had a week where they had 2 games that they played like crap. And they won one and they lost one. And they realized we can't start that way. Now you get a break. I'm sure a lot of these guys aren't even in the city of Cleveland anymore. You get a relaxation here for a couple of days, and you come back, remind yourself, all right, what do we got to flip here? What's the mindset that we have to change here? This is the whole point of this break, part of this. What can we do better here? And if I'm JB in a team meeting, I'm sitting down going, guys, look at this. Look at the opportunities that we will have over the next couple of months to chase down the Boston Celtics. You don't have quite the head-to-head matchup, so don't play one more time. But you're facing teams that you can just feed on. And you can start working on your rotations and getting some breaks for some guys. I expect Donovan Mitchell to get a couple games off here coming up. Deserves them, certainly so. I'm kind of interested to see what that looks like. See those rotations out there. But the opportunities are just so in front of the Cavaliers, which are just a lot of fun. Can I wrap up here, finishing up with LeBron a little bit?
Yeah, please.
So this LeBron stuff, it's just, we talked about this on the show yesterday, about if you think LeBron would ever come back to the Cavs.
Yes.
And I'm open to it, certainly. But the one thing, hearing that the Warriors called, and I actually read an article this morning about the 3 reasons why the Warriors could still be in on LeBron in the offseason. And I said, I don't think he's going there. I think there's something about Golden State.
Would
Maybe
that
this
piss
is
you
me
off?
as a fan. Yeah, it would. Yeah, it would.
See, I don't know.
I don't want him
really
to go
wouldn't
there.
make me that mad.
I don't want him to go there.
I
don't.
really hate Golden State.
It's like, I'm not saying he's selling out, but like joining other star players, that's kind of what the NBA does. Not the Warriors, man. Just not them. And it's not, they'll never make my list of the most hated teams in my life. Michigan and Baltimore are 1 and 2 on that list. They were there. I've understood that the relationship between the Cavs and the Warriors, you'll never get that again. And we got to remember how great that was and how much fun it was. But it's gone. There's still something about that. I don't want LeBron to go to the Warriors. I really don't.
He would kind of look nice in that uniform.
No, stop that. He's already got the yellow. He's already got the gold.
I'm just saying.
He's got the best jerseys in the NBA.
Who?
Who has the best jersey in the NBA?
I thought you said the Lakers.
They're the most, well, them and the Celtics are most iconic.
Best jerseys in the NBA.
And I'm not talking about like the I really like the Cavs. Dude, that court for the city court for the Cavs is beautiful. I love that court. Thank God we're out of the play-in tournament. They got to change those courts, man. Do you see they're doing LED court this weekend? They're going to have a court that has LEDs in it. You're going to have guys out there shooting a 3 and they're going to get a flash. What's going on here? I am interested to see the All-Star game this weekend. And I just shot out because I was thinking about the Lakers. I'm like, I think that, you want to know a jersey that I've always really loved? The Portland Trailblazers.
That's so funny because when you said that popped
I
in my
love
head.
Portland. I don't know why. I love their scheme. I like Portland. I like San Antonio too. Some with the black. I always think uniforms with black in them are cool. I think they're just so cool. Who's got the worst? The New Orleans Pelicans are the answer. That is the crappiest logo in all of sports. It's the worst jersey makeup in all the sports, in my opinion. I think the Pelicans suck. Cavs are good. I really like the Cavs uniforms. Can I get you a hot take too? I don't like the Bucks uniforms. I think the Bucks are kind of lacking a little bit there.
I don't mind them.
Don't mind them?
No.
Well, LeBron is already in LA, so he's already got his goal. He doesn't have to go there. But now, according to reports, Daryl Morey, who I just keep thinking of James Harden, where he goes, he's a liar. He's a liar. Daryl Morey reportedly called the Lakers about a LeBron trade after his cryptic tweet. So the Lakers came back with, we'll take Joel Embiid for you. That obviously did not happen. After seeing James' cryptic social media post of an hourglass a week before the trade deadline, Philadelphia 76ers president of basketball operations, Daryl Morey, called Rob Pelinka to probe on a James trade and was immediately told that James wasn't available. In fact, Pelinka responded by asking Morey if Joel Embiid was available. And that ended the very brief conversation that they had. It's kind of funny, right? Lose my number, or okay, we'll take Joel Embiid off your hands, that kind of stuff. But it is, I think the smoke is there that LeBron is actually going to leave the Lakers.
Of course he is.
I was kind of conditioned that he was going to stay.
Why?
I really thought he was going to finish his career out there. I really did.
Dude, he's getting another ring.
I think that's on his list. I think playing with Bronny is on his list.
Matt, I don't know how else to tell you he's coming to the Cavaliers.
How so?
It's this.
Can I just, before you start?
Yeah, go for it.
I hate doing this. Would the Lakers, would they still want Donovan Mitchell if LeBron left? Are they pursuing Donovan Mitchell just because of LeBron, or would they pursue Donovan Mitchell because they need a rebuilding team there?
They need a rebuilding team.
Okay. So they would want him, or obviously they're all over DeJounte Murray, which I get.
No, the writing's on the wall.
Like,
the writing's on the wall in LA.
Dude, I would tell you, please don't clip this. There's your trade.
No.
There's your trade.
Absolutely not. No.
Do you want him back or not?
Yeah, I want him back because I want to win a championship.
Free agency, I can't tell you enough. It's not happening.
Why?
I don't think it's happening. The Lakers are not just going to let him leave.
What do you mean?
Okay, I guess.
What are they going to handcuff him to Staples Center?
They can offer more money than anybody else. I guess money really doesn't matter.
LeBron don't give a crap about money. He's coming back to Cleveland, Matt. I don't know how else to tell you. Why would he not?
It's got everything for him. It's got everything. It's a fairy tale ending, especially if you want another ring.
Bro, look at LeBron. That's why he does movies. He's all about that ending, that Hollywood life, dude.
But I want to say this. I would love it. That would be fantastic. I don't see it.
But for what? Because of the money. That's what you're saying?
The money, the salary cap, you wouldn't be able to keep this roster as currently constructed. And I guess there is that fear.
But why not?
About blowing it up just for a couple of years, LeBron. Now you come back with you're blowing it up for LeBron, and you probably would go win a ring. I'd go rebuild for another ring.
Yeah, that's the whole point.
You're making a lot of sense.
It's the whole point of the NBA to get a ring.
I hate this. You're making a lot of sense.
I hate people that are like, oh,
it's still in LeBron's power, though. There's still do you think that's what he wants to do?
Come to Cleveland?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what would be a benefit of going? You already played for the Lakers, okay? You're not going to play for the Celtics. That's not happening. Why else would you? There's no other story of franchise that would be cool. Oh, LeBron, I want to go. No, you come back to Cleveland.
Well, I don't know about the story. It's if he's talking about going to win a ring. There's other teams that he can go win a ring with. There's other teams he can go join.
Who?
I don't know. You put him on. I mean, that's the thing. He's LeBron. You put him on a host of other teams, he'd be able to do it. A host of teams. You're telling me that if you didn't put him back on the Miami Heat, that they wouldn't be another favorite to go win a title? Telling me him on the 76ers, talking about him on Dallas. And I'm just rounding these teams off. I have no idea what their cap situation is or how ludicrous it could be. I'm just saying, a good chunk of NBA teams, you put him on. You put him with Zion in New Orleans, they're probably still a championship contender.
No.
That's how good LeBron is.
No.
No, there are teams that are better.
No.
You put him on the Cavs. Okay, maybe not New Orleans.
Even Miami, no.
You don't think that?
Dallas, no.
You know,
no.
I
Why?
vehemently disagree on Dallas.
Him and Luka won't play together well.
And Kyrie?
Mm-mm.
I don't know, man.
Kyrie's hurt.
I'm, again, assuming he's there.
Dude, Cleveland is the best place to come win a ring.
That's fine. And make that pitch to him. Send this to Rich Paul. Please do.
I will.
Send this clip to Rich Paul.
I got a buddy that's in. I got a buddy that's in with Rich Paul.
I'll go drive. I would drive to LA to go pick him up.
Yeah,
I would do that.
I would too.
I would drive to go to LA to pick him up if that's what he needed.
Matt,
be a long ride
just,
back. Don't worry, Bron. I got a good playlist here lined up for you.
LeBron's the most corny athlete in the world. He would love to come to Cleveland and get another ring.
All right, we're pulling out for gas. You want beef jerky, sunflower seeds? What do we need here?
Dude,
Chex Mix. Chex Mix is so underrated on a road trip. So underrated on a road trip.
I'm so convinced LeBron's coming back to win a ring.
Gatorade. You want to pop?
It's the perfect ending to the best career in sports.
Well, now it's funny you say that because the first thing I thought of was the ending that LeBron had thought is clearly not attainable now. He needs a new ending.
Why?
I thought he was going to ride off into the sunset with the Lakers.
Why? But why did you think that?
When he first went there, my belief was, and why I was never bothered he left, that is just a place that he always wanted to go.
And I don't get that.
It's the Lakers.
Well, why do you want to go? I don't care if it's the Lakers. Why wouldn't you want to be the best player ever?
I think it. Well, first off, I think it very much matters what he did here, and I've said that. I think the crowning achievement in LeBron's career is what he did here. But when you grow up watching teams, or when you grow up, there's just always this goal to do that. You know what I mean? The best example I could do is if I ever made it to the NFL, if I ever met it as a professional baseball player, which was really when I was a kid, when I was a little kid, all I ever wanted to be was a pro baseball player. I got to semi-pro. I got to semi-pro. That's as close as I got. And if I was Mike Trout, I would
No, don't even
want to
say
come
it.
play for Cleveland.
Oh.
It would just mean what do you think I was
I
going to
thought
say?
you were gonna wait. What'd you say about Mike Trout? You said he.
If I was Mike Trout,
Yeah.
if I was the best player,
Right.
at some point in my career, I would want to come home and play for Cleveland because it would just mean that much to me,
Yeah.
regardless of the money or the. Now, what you want is, I think, what LeBron did. You want to have a successful career. You want to go win your rings, establish yourself as one of the best. And I felt like he is the best. That you would go and be able to do that for the Lakers. That's just what I thought. That's what I believe, that he always had this thing he wanted to go play for Lakers. So with the time of his career, with his age, I never thought he'd leave. I just thought he'd stay there the whole time and ride it out. Would you say it's been successful going there? Yeah, they won a ring. It was in the bubble. Take that for what it's worth. I think he probably wanted to win another one, but he still goes down. And I think this is a part of his legacy where he believes that he is the best, sure. But regardless, you put yourself on a list of guys that won championships for the Lakers. And that means something. That means something. Yeah. You're with that group.
That's fair.
And he's included in that. Now, you could say, all right, it's done. He did it. Great. But I don't know what theory I thought about. Is if he wanted to go there to say that he would go down as the greatest Laker of all time. And that's, you talk about surpassing the list that was.
That's not even possible.
And again, it probably wasn't possible just from a timing standpoint. He would have had to spend 10, 15 years there to do that. But that's what I'm saying. I think all those factored in. So now he went and he's done it to a point. I never thought he'd leave. I thought he'd be there forever.
If LeBron, tell me if I'm wrong. If LeBron came to the Cavaliers with the roster that we have right now, it'd be the best Cavaliers team that has ever been assembled. 100%. 100%.
Yeah, probably.
100%.
Yeah, probably. If we're talking about current, nothing changes, which we know wouldn't be the thing.
Well, that's fine. We can get rid of.
Okay, but I'm saying they all have a roster spot, right? They signed Zaire Smith to a 10-day contract. They let that expire and they bring LeBron James. Sorry. Okay, right. So you're talking about, first you got to compare LeBron to LeBron of the past. And it's not quite to that level, but he's still damn close.
Yeah, but
then you're talking about Donovan versus Kyrie. You're talking Jared Allen versus Kevin Love.
Jared Allen's better.
Then you're talking Darius Garland versus J.R. Smith, maybe. You know, it would be. It would be. And I get why the Cavs could be attractive. It's just, I think there's too many hurdles. There's too many things that wouldn't be able to happen. But if we're in the conversation, that's why the NBA, it takes sometimes one domino. And it just infects the rest of the league on what happens and who goes where and what drops. But for the first time, LeBron's leaving. LeBron's going to leave again. And I think, all right, does it hurt or help his legacy if he goes to a brand new team?
See, I don't think it matters.
You don't think it matters? I think it's a fair answer because LeBron in his career, he's played for 3 teams. That's it. 3 teams. I think that's pretty good. When you look at a lot of star players,
here's the thing, Matt.
You're not getting Bird, who's only ever with the South. You're not
the
getting
thing.
some of these guys that only ever played for one team. So I think it adds to his legacy.
That's the thing.
That he only played for 3.
And here's the thing. It doesn't matter. He could have went on to play for 5. It's the fact that all 3 teams he won a ring with.
See, but that starts to get too much for me. When I see guys that have played for 4 or 5 different teams.
But if you win a ring
and I know
for each of them.
But I know this is just me too. But what I'm saying is, I guess I'm old school when I see guys that stuck with one team for 10 or 15 years and only played for one other.
Right, but
it's not the era we're in.
Right.
I get that.
Go look at Dame. He wasn't going to do shit in Portland ever because of
that's
Portland.
only his 2nd team. But I'm Durant.
What I'm saying.
Durant is on what? His 5th team?
Right.
James Harden on his 6th team, maybe, or whatever it is.
Nobody talks about that. They don't care.
That's a great point.
He won it with the Lakers. He won it with the Heat. He couldn't do shit with the Magic because they were horrible.
Giannis eventually will leave Milwaukee, I think. I've called that before.
No, we're not. We're never gonna have Dirks. We're never gonna have Kobe's. We're never gonna have Charles Barkley's. It's just not gonna happen anymore.
I guess that is a change that I need to have because you're right on that. All right, let's do this. Let's stay going. Let's flip over to the Browns. I have a lot of things Browns, but I can tell you about Tipico, folks. Sign up with that code Fontana 100. Shout out to our friend Booby Gibson. Daniel now hooked up as an ambassador there for Tipico. We got your Cavs, and we don't have a bet for. Do you want to do a boost for tonight?
Yeah, we can.
There's 3 NBA games tonight. Should I send him a boost?
Yeah.
All right, we'll do that. We'll do that later. If anybody has a boost, and that's what I love telling people about. Folks, we do the boosts. Ryan and I create the boosts every morning. Last night, just missed. Well, we missed on the cover. They 3.5. They only won by 3. Then just short on Darius Garland. When he got listed as question, I'm like, I'm the kiss of death. I'm the kiss of death on that. But nonetheless, get signed up with Tipico. For this weekend, we're going to do all our boosts for tomorrow, which I'm really excited about. But they got the cashback rewards. For every dollar that you spend on your bets, you get that cashback reward. You can use that on future bets that's coming up. The boost, the parlay boosts are so great. I want to spend a minute talking about the flex parlay. So this is something that I got to tell you, I don't know if I've seen this anywhere other than Tipico. And I'm not saying it's not everywhere else, but here, all you do, go to Tipico. I know you really can't see my screen here. But you go to promotions, and there's a flex parlay, and all I do is click build parlay. And what I can do is set up a parlay that if I choose 3 or 4 legs of a parlay, right there in the bottom corner pops up flex parlay. So just for tonight, just on a joke, Bucks minus 11, under on the Timberwolves Trailblazers, and over on the Warriors Jazz. That parlay on its own is plus 587. Ryan, if I just want 2 of those legs to hit, that's only minus 130. And again, it doesn't matter which 2 of those legs hit. The flex parlay is where it's at. Imagine if I did a 5-leg parlay.
That's you know what that is, Matt? That's a March Madness cheat code.
So I just added 2 college games. I did a 5-legger for 4 out of the 5 plus 326. I love the flex, man. I love this thing. You want to start talking March Madness. That's where this is going to come in with Tipico. So get geared up and ready to go. Download the app. Use the code Fontana100 when you sign up. Deposit and bet $25 on whatever you want, and you get $100 in bonus bets. Take advantage of the cashback rewards. Take advantage of this flex parlay and get signed up with our friends at Tipico. You're right. March Madness is going to be a real cheat code there when it comes to the flex parlay. Let's flip over to talk a little bit of Browns this morning. I flip over to CBS Sports. Jeff Kerr. Is it bad that when I see the headline, 5 teams poised to take a step back, I just assume the Browns are going to be in this? I assume every list of every reporter and every writer that does teams that are expected to take a step back, the Browns are going to be on it. And I think it's twofold. Number 1, they overachieved this year. And number 2, everybody's going to talk about Deshaun Watson. Everybody, as we have done, what's he going to do this season? Is he going to return to form? All of that. Number 1. The Cleveland Browns. Jeff writes, the Browns were one of the surprises in the NFL this last season, starting 5 different quarterbacks, making the playoffs 11-6, Joe Flacco winning comeback player of the year, yada, yada, yada. Cleveland will be getting back to Deshaun Watson in 2024 and his contract. Watson wasn't exactly lighting it up before he was lost for the season with a shoulder injury and hasn't been the same quarterback since signing in Cleveland. He'll be leading an offense that needs a better number 2 option at wide receiver and the uncertainty of Nick Chubb. The Browns had the number 1 defense in points allowed per possession, and there will be changes to that group. Not as many as you think. Hold that thought for a second. Cleveland has to clear up $19 million in salary cap. They can do that with this. Swipe of the pen. But it also plays in the AFC North, the division where every team finished over 500 last year. Jeff writes, as we all know, this comes down to Watson, who needs to be a quarterback the Browns paid for. If Watson is mediocre, the Browns will be too. Say that about every team in the NFL. The changes on defense that Jeff wrote about here, though. Am I missing it here? A couple linebackers, D tackle, and DN.
Wait, what did he say?
He said there'll be changes on that defense. Yeah, I think we're pretty set there.
The only thing would be if we don't sign
Zadarius Smith.
The only thing would be a pass rusher, and
Get a couple linebackers. Get a couple linebackers.
And then the only other thing would be if you don't sign Taki or Walker.
And go find somebody else. That's fine. Your secondary is set, and you got a generational pass rusher. I'm not buying the changes on that defense. And you have Jim Schwartz coming back.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
I don't really buy that. So he had us on the list of teams take a step back. Would you dare guess the other 4 teams that Jeff Kerr writes of the teams he believes will take a major step back next year?
Yeah, well, can I just get this out of the way? Because I feel like they've probably been in here 3 times. The Chiefs, like, do they count as a
No,
team?
they're not. I will give you a little hint here. None of these other teams made the playoffs, which is interesting. How can you take a major fall if they didn't make the playoffs? Do you want me to run through them?
Yeah, because that doesn't make any sense.
The New Orleans Saints, the Denver Broncos, the Minnesota Vikings, and the New York Giants.
Not sure there's much.
None of those teams had a winning record last year, except the Browns. Okay, sorry, the Saints went 9-8 and missed the playoffs. Major step back.
Haters.
So the Saints, okay, you weren't a great team last year. Okay, major step back. The Broncos will take a step back because you don't know who their quarterback is yet.
Same with the Vikings.
The Vikings will get Kirk Cousins back. You just assume.
I don't know.
They'll bring him back.
See what Jay Jetta said?
I know. Everybody's talking about Justin Jefferson and what money he's going to get and what he's going to command, all that kind of stuff. I get it. But even then, he's talking about Addison, Jefferson, and TJ Hawkinson. You could find a quarterback there. What if Justin Fields went there? Chicago never traded him in division, but that'd be an interesting one. The Giants, I mean, yeah, they're entering a lame duck season. I read a report that the organization and the locker room are still all in on Daniel Jones.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Giants are cooked for the
Good job. If I'm Saquon Barkley, I go, don't even call me.
He's going to the Ravens.
I hate that. I would hate that. I would. I'm a big Saquon Barkley fan. I think he's really good.
Oh, yeah. No, he's top.
Giants are cooked. They'll fire Brian Dable. Yeah, but I thought it was interesting. I clicked through this. I'm like, okay, I start from the standpoint that the Browns are going to be they're always on the pitfall list. They'll always be on the team poised to take the step back. Sure, it's all in Deshaun Watson. We know the rest of these teams, I don't think. All right, so let me do this. Ryan Tyler. Of the teams that made the playoffs last year, guarantee me one that will not this upcoming season. Your teams. We'll do AFC, NFC. I want one each from you. Are you ready? Buffalo, Miami, Baltimore, Cleveland, Pittsburgh, Houston, Kansas City. Guarantee me one that will miss the playoffs last year or this year coming up.
Easy answer is the Steelers. But how about this, Matt? I'll throw this at you. I'm going to go the Texans.
I was going to say Houston too.
Yeah.
First year, I'm not saying flash in the pan. It's a lot harder to do that than you think. A sneaky one for me was Miami. You know, I kind of put them alike on Sean McDermott, thinking that he was going to. I think it's Mike McDaniel this season.
If Aaron Rodgers.
So the teams that missed that you guarantee will make Jets, Patriots, Bengals. Okay, the Bengals are going to make the playoffs next year. Jags, Colts, Titans, Raiders, Broncos, Chargers. So you believe if the Jets and the Bengals make it, I think Jacksonville's going to make it.
Here's the thing.
Talking about 3 teams turnover there.
I'm a big fan of Anthony Richardson. So
he's back healthy. I saw those videos.
I could see the Colts making the playoffs next year.
All right, NFC teams that made it. Give me one that won't. Dallas, Philly, Detroit, Green Bay, Tampa Bay, San Francisco, the Rams.
All right, I'll get a little hot here, Matt. The Eagles.
Ooh.
Dealing with another turn in the coordinators, right? I don't know if A.J. Brown's going to be bad. They seem like he's...
Say the name. Say the other guy.
What, Nick Sirianni?
Is Jalen Hurts really who we think he is?
Oh,
is that too much? Is that a little sauce there?
It's not
too much?
It's not too much. No, it's not.
It's
not too much.
They got a lot of problems. They got a lot of aging guys on that team.
Yeah,
too.
well, they do. Jason Kelsey's probably gone. I mean... I don't know.
I mean, my gut said Tampa Bay.
When you have that bad of an ending to a season, you flip your coordinators yet again. Nick Sirianni's in doubt. Is Jalen Hurts right leg? As you said, is he that good? A.J. Brown seems to not even like being on the Eagles. I don't know, dude. There's a lot of moving parts there too. And like I said, when you have that bad of an end to a season, it's hard to recapture that momentum.
Absolutely. All right, one team that missed that'll make it: Giants, Commies. No. Vikings, Bears, Saints, Falcons, Panthers. Seahawks, Cardinals. Say the team that are both in our mind right now. Here, I'm gonna send it to you right now.
I
send it to you right
Mine's hinged on fixing one thing, but if they do, I think they can definitely make the playoffs.
Who is it?
And you want me to say it?
Yeah. I'm sending you the team. I think you and I are on the same wavelengths there.
Okay. The Falcons.
No.
Okay. That didn't work out. No, here, I'm telling you the script right now, man. I'm telling you the script right now.
That's Falcons. There was another bird team, but it wasn't them.
I'm telling you the script right now. Raheem Morris, they go get a quarterback. Raheem Morris wins Coach of the Year because they take him to the playoffs.
Write that down. I was going to go the Cardinals.
See, okay.
I was gonna go with the Cardinals.
That's like that would.
I thought you and I were kind of on the same thing. Like, maybe they could turn around.
I just like that's tough. If they weren't,
They
in
were
the division,
4-13 last year. They were trash.
If they weren't with the Niners and the Rams,
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's tough.
That's a good point. All right, I got more Browns because I do want to get to Browns rookie grades coming up.
I also at one point we have to get to it. I have an amazing trivia question for you.
You want to do it at the end of the morning update?
Yeah, we can do that.
I love it. I got a good one for Ryan yesterday. He's got a good one for me coming back. All right, let's do this. Catch up break. Tell everybody about Tipico. I've got Browns rookie grades from NFL.com. Yeah, not good. Not good. We'll take a look at those coming up. I want to dive back into the Cavs as well. They're on the All-Star break. Get geared up with Tipico for our boost tonight. Folks, we got all. Did Drennan read my question last night on bonus time?
Yeah.
Good. What did he say? I didn't watch. Sorry.
I told him he wasn't allowed to say Jose Ramirez.
So last night, bonus time with Bruce Drennan, which everybody loves Bruce. And the thing that he is so good about is your reaction and that. So it's new for him. He does it through Twitter. So he asks for questions every Wednesday. So I sent his most underappreciated Indian guardian of all time.
I forget who he said. He did mention, though, it's kind of timely. He said one of them is Corey Kluber. He thinks.
I think Corey Kluber announced his retirement recently. I was kind of hoping you go back to like the 80s or something like that. But bonus time with Drennan.
He did, but like I can't remember because it was people I don't know.
Fair enough. Ryan's a youngster over there. Drennan on Wednesdays. Thursday kind of our. We're up on Thursdays, but you can always. I don't say this enough about Big Play. You can get all our replays. You can go back on all the Twitters, all the Instagrams, all the YouTubes. Watch it at your pleasure. I was actually just talking to somebody about that a couple weeks ago. Frankly, they were like, wait, where, it's still new for me being over here and all that kind of stuff. So I was explaining. I was like, hey, man, I'm here. I'm doing 9 to 11.
Once we get the app, it'll be so cool.
We're allowed to talk about that? It's like Fight Club.
I think so.
All right. We're working on an app, too, which will be great. But this person I was talking to, they're like, oh, man, I miss you from 5 to 7. And I said, well, technically, if you want, you can just replay our show from 5 to 7 on YouTube, on wherever you want. We're on demand, wherever you want it. So check it out everywhere you need it. Big Play, bigplay.com. Check us out on YouTube as well. It's damn sickness. We'll get there. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, it's all over on Big Play. We're at Matt Fontana Show for a lot of things. Back over 500 followers after the porn bot Lisa and purge there that went through on that. So drop us a follow there. All right, morning update. We got a trivia, Browns rookie grades, more Cavs, a savory time hop, and our bracket of the week. Your favorite Seinfeld episode. Looks like the number 1 seeds are going to advance. Vote at Matt Fontana Show. We're back right after this. I'm all geared up for your trivia. I'm very excited about it. Ryan's got the morning update. A lot we have to get to, of course. A very sad and shocking scene there in Kansas City. We'll get to that. We have the NFL to continue on as well. I've got Browns rookie grades, more Cavs, time up, and a little trivia question. Ryan, please take it away.
Alrighty, Matt. Well, yes, the Cavs, as we know, took on the Chicago Bulls last night. Not the greatest start, but they come back and get the win, 108-105, Matt. They head into the All-Star break, sitting pretty comfortably into that number 2 seed in the East, and we know we'll have a fun weekend with Donovan Mitchell in the three-point contest.
Yeah, 3-point. He's going to play in the All-Star game. I mean, for the Cavs, this has been so much fun. I think they've won a lot of fun games. You're relevant. You're contenders. The other thing, and again, maybe I'm like a little victim of the moment talking about the Bulls. Ryan, we beat the Bulls last night like they were the Wizards, right? Like we beat them like they were and they're in the playoffs right now. The Bulls are in the playoffs. They're in the play-in tournament. Like the way that we beat them.
That's the playoffs.
Right. That's my whole point is like just that divide, that gap. And in the NBA, when the season starts, and I didn't do it this year, I really should have. I usually pick 5 teams. And I say, I feel pretty damn good that the NBA championship is going to come from one of these 5 teams. And I placed a little wager on each, knowing that at that point it's plus money. And I got to tell you, I would have put money on the Celtics. I would have put money on the Bucks. I would have put money on the Clippers. And I would have put money probably on the Phoenix Suns. I don't know why. There's something about me with the Suns. And the Nuggets. Those probably would have been my 5 teams. I don't know if I'd have put the Cavs. I would not have put money on the Timberwolves or the Oklahoma City Thunder. But to see at this point of the season, would you not say the same thing? That you feel like there's 5, maybe 6 teams. I think the Cavs are part of that conversation. I think it's the Celtics. I think it's the Cavs. Sorry, I still don't think it's Minnesota. I still don't think it's Oklahoma City. I really still think it's the Clippers, Nuggets, and Suns out west, which is crazy.
But to be fair, I think the same, and I'm not saying you're wrong because I kind of agree with you, but I think kind of the reasoning behind that with the Timberwolves and what was the team?
The Thunder. The Thunder. And that's shade on Shy. Chet is so good.
It's the same thing as the Cavs, right? It's because they haven't really been there with their core group of guys. So I get it, but it's like kind of like the same thing with the Cavs.
But then that's what I'm talking about. And I guess maybe the NBA would feel like that's good. Like at any point of the season, you would feel like there's only 5 or 6 teams that actually could go win the championship. Football is a little bit more, I think. But you get where I'm going? Like one of the big things I've seen is that there's just this cliff. There's this giant cliff that really, I think, behind the 5 or 6 seed in the NBA, which is crazy that the 76ers are still 10 games above 500. 10. They have the same record as the Suns. I guess I'm going star power, but that divide is clear, and just be happy that the Cavs are a part of the have group, not the have-nots. You're a part of this, you're in it, see it on through, and knowing once the playoffs start, jumble that all on up. We know the seeding doesn't necessarily matter for a lot. You got to see how your team's playing come playoffs. Hopefully the Cavs, they're in it. I'm so happy with how this season has gone. It's been so much fun, and here we are.
Well, the only team in the East above the Cavs right now, as we mentioned, is the number 1 seed, and the Celtics, the favorite to win the championship this year, Matt. But last night, they made some history of their own. They became just the 3rd team in the NBA history to post multiple 50-point wins in one season.
That, again, is like just
That's crazy.
It's crazy, and I know they try to stave off the tanking, and they put the lottery in. There are just some really, really, really bad basketball teams. And the other thing, you realize who these teams are at the trade deadline, like the Nets, where they go, we know we're not going anywhere, even though technically at one point the Nets were still in the play-in tournament. Think about all the things that the NBA has tried to do to hold off what is actually happening. They have the lottery, they have the play-in tournament, and you still have teams just taking this white flag and going, who do you want? Who should we trade away? What money can we get off the books? What draft picks can we pick? Because they know their only hope and prayers to go through the draft. And there is just such a, which is another credit to the Cavs in my opinion, there is such a small window for you to capitalize, right? And I really think it's only 2 or 3 years where you do this. You draft a star player. Usually you need another draft And then you got about 2 seasons to turn it around before that star player goes, I'm getting the hell out of here. Like, Cade Cunningham is salivating for the day that he gets to leave the Detroit Pistons, right? Atlanta, say what you want about Trae Young or not, or probably even more DeJounte Murray now. I think they kind of missed their window. And again, they're in the 10 seed. They're in the play-in tournament right now. But do you get what I'm saying? The Cavs capitalized on that. Now, a big part of that was going to get Donovan Mitchell and ascending to the team that you are. But, like, the Pistons aren't even in that position. The Hawks aren't even in that. That's why, and if you miss that window, what happens? Hit the reset button. You're right back to crap. You're right back to the bottom of the league, fighting it out for the lottery and to get a pick. That's why I got to give credit to the Cavs so much. They had that window. They executed the rebuild perfectly. They really did. They maximized that rebuild. Well, you got other teams that are just lowly. And again, it's not always simple as finding a star player. You think you got one, you really don't. Injuries crop up. You think this, you think that. It's a lot harder. It's a lot harder than you think. And I'm very thankful the Cavs were able to be successful. Again, no matter what happens, they were successful 2 times in the post-LeBron rebuild. They were successful getting Kyrie and turning that around, and they were successful this time when LeBron left. Without a doubt. Without a doubt.
Alrighty, Matt. Well, just a few minutes ago, but no surprise here, the Browns officially announced that new offensive line coach is Andy Dickerson, as well as Roy Estevan joining the staff as the assistant as Scott Peters left to New England.
Yeah, I mean, you had this change, you had this shakeup, I thought a lot of people. I'm going back to what Jake Burns told us from the OBR a couple of weeks ago. He was kind of on board with going outside the building. And Andy Dickerson, who interviewed for the OC job at one point, you could tell Browns are smart that this is time for us to maybe prepare for Bill Callahan to leave. And that's the NFL. And the Browns are certainly a sought-after team for players, but I think also coaches. Why did Andy Dickerson want to leave Seattle? Mike McDonald's coming in. They could have, but hey, man, this team's built. Let's go. The job, I got to tell you, man, the job that Andy Dickerson has for this season, it's going to be really hard. It's going to be hard. You got your guys coming back. So you start with the base level that a first-time offensive line coach has some all-pro players. But you got to make this decision on the tackles. And you got to maintain the level of play that they had. I don't want to say it's the hardest job in the world, because you could be sitting here saying you got a bunch of crap. You don't. You got good players. But that's one of my things for this offseason for the Browns. I think it's super important, the job that Andy Dickerson's going to do with this offensive line.
Matt, how big do you think it is that we at least got 1 year with DeJuan Jones with Bill Callahan?
Huge.
Right?
Huge.
I mean, could you imagine if that happened last year?
Now, the elephant in the room is he playing left or right tackle? And I could only hope that right when Bill was about to leave, that Kevin called him on the phone. And I'm sure they could still talk. And seriously, and be like, Bill, we appreciate you, man. Have fun down in Tennessee. I need your last statement to be, what would you do with DeJuan Jones? I want that input. And it doesn't mean that that's like going to happen, but before Bill Callahan left, I pray to the God they got an answer from him on what he would do with DeJuan Jones, right? And it's not necessarily about like Conklin and Wills and what you have. What I want from Bill Callahan, and I would really take this as Bible, where do you see DeJuan Jones being successful? Because if Bill Callahan told me he's a right tackle, don't screw with him, I'm living with that, okay? I know the temptation to move him over to left, and I know that you'd have to go find a left tackle. But I would, or if Bill said, you know what, I think he can make that move. I really do. You're talking about an expert with a guy that's got these physical tools that you saw, that you know. I needed that answer from Bill Callahan before he left. I hope the Browns got it. And then when Andy Dickerson shows up, you want to say, this is your room, and you're going to coach these guys up. But I would still say, but just so you know, we really think DeJuan Jones is just a right tackle, or we move him to left. That's huge. And if you wanted to go back to, we're just going to play Conklin and Wills at their respective positions, and DeJuan Jones starts on the bench. That's an all right answer, knowing that injuries could crop back up. Me personally, you make that decision and you start DeJuan Jones at that position. You can go through minicamp and you can go through training camp trying to figure all that out. I think you make that decision and he's your day one starter, either right or left. And it's two reasons. Number one, I'm talking development. And you need reps, and you need game reps, and you need practice at that position. And I don't want to be flip-flopping. You put him there and you let him go as a young player. But also, number two, you then have a path. We're operating this way. And that helps Andrew Berry when it comes to Wills or when it comes to Conklin or how you want to do this or how you want to do that. Want to know what I just thought of? Because I know Greg Newsome is like the hot topic trade guy. Everybody said, what if you comboed those two guys? What if you found a team that said, here's Greg Newsome and Jed Wills for a second-round pick? That other team wins that trade. Now, it's maybe what the Browns need to get the money moved. And tell me if I'm wrong. Have we ever, two players for one? I don't even know. That could actually be illegal in the NFL. I don't even know how that works. Could you know what I mean? Could be something there. It's all intriguing. It's all interesting. And maybe you want Andy Dickerson to come in. Because, again, I want to take with what Bill Callahan said. But I also want Andy Dickerson to come in and watch some film and get his take on all that. It's a tough job, but it's a very important one, seriously.
Well, what was supposed to be a day of celebration turned into a day of mourning in Kansas City. Another shooting that left 22 injured, including one dead, Matt. And it seems like this is just becoming a pattern at this point.
Listen, I know that there's a lot to be said, and I think everybody's saying all the right things. We've got to do something about this. And I come from, I'm a gun owner, my family are gun owners, but we're responsible. We have to stop this. We have to stop this. And I know people jump on when you look at Missouri, no background checks, no registration needed, no CCW, all this stuff. This has got to change. This has got to stop. Now, the thing is, and correct me if I'm wrong, we don't know exactly what happened, right? Where was this two guys that got angry at one another and they both just happened to have a gun?
So I believe, if I'm not mistaken, there's 3 people in
Three, and they tackled the one guy. Was this a terrorist type thing? It's just so scary. And I see, can't go to church, can't go to a shopping center anymore. I have a fear. My son is in school. And the fact that we have to live in this world is, man. And in a year where elections and you hear the same bullshit from everybody that takes office, and nothing changes. Nothing does. And I'm not one that sits here and says, oh, just ban them all. That's impractical. Show up at people's doors, say no. But the fact that there's nothing ever done. There should be universal background checks. There need to be mental health evaluations if you want to own a gun. And the other side of things will always be, well, there's a lot of illegal guns out there too, and there's people that buy them in other ways. Sure, but we got to start locking this down. Here's the way that I look. I am a tax-paying American citizen with no mental illness. I am willing to go through the channels that are needed, a wait period. I would sit down for a mental health evaluation if that meant that I could have, for hunting. My brothers hunt. We do. That's what my family does. And I know people say, well, what do you need an AR for? What do you need this for? There are people that is their hobby. And again, if they are mentally competent and know how to own a firearm when it's secured and safe. Dude, I just read a story about a 1-year-old that got a hold of a gun and shot themselves in the head. How does that happen? How do we live in this world? If you are not going to be a responsible person and if you have mental health issues, you do not get to own a gun. It needs to be that simple and easy. It has to be that way. And these politicians that just sit there and send a tweet or do this or do that, It's so bad. I don't want to get right because again, is there anybody out there that is feeling like we need to not stop shootings? I don't know anybody on either side of the aisle that thinks shootings are okay. So let's start there, okay? Let's start with a base of nobody thinks this is good. What can we do to stop it? And it's not just we're going to take everybody's guns away. That's impractical. That's not going to happen. So with that also in mind, what safeguards what can we do? And you want to know the worst part of all of it, Ryan? Is that it's so defeatist, and this is just so sad. Sometimes bad people are going to do bad things. And that's unfortunately the world that we live in. And I don't understand it. I don't. And I think it comes back to really the mental health of our country and why we are still just so far behind in mental health and trying to help people. Now, if it comes out that this was an anger thing, somebody cut somebody off in the parking garage and they just have that stuff is just, again, responsible gun owner. That's what needs to be in America. And you say nobody should own guns. That's never going to happen. We need responsible gun owners.
Well, Matt, I mentioned that I'm going to end the morning update with a trivia question for you. Now, there are 5 answers to this trivia question, Matt.
Okay.
And it is very difficult. So I'm going to say if you can get 2, that's pretty darn good.
All right, okay. Low bar, okay.
Yeah. The question is, Matt, there have been 5 schools, college universities, that have produced a Super Bowl winning quarterback as well as a president. Have you seen this?
Yes.
Aw, dang it.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to get all of them.
Okay.
But this is one of my favorite trivia questions. So my father-in-law and my wife's uncle, Uncle Randy. And every time I see him, Randy's got a joke for me, and we love doing trivia. We were sitting at one of my wife's best friend's weddings, and they were all there. Me, my father-in-law, and my uncle just sat at the bar, just going back and forth. I love it.
I do too.
So I do know this one. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get all 5, right? Because is Miami of Ohio one of them?
Yeah, Ben Roethlisberger. And Harrison.
The Naval Academy, Roger Staubach.
And Jimmy Carter.
I always want to go to Notre Dame for some reason, but that's not one. Stanford?
Yes.
Yeah.
John Elway and Herbert Hoover.
There you go. Oh, now we're getting into the nitty-gritty.
So I actually only knew one of these, and it's one that you haven't gotten so far.
Michigan?
Yes.
Yeah.
Tom Brady and Gerald Ford. That's
right.
The one I knew.
That's the right. All right. Okay, wait. Okay, so Michigan, the Naval Academy, Notre Dame.
No,
or not Notre Dame. Stanford. And Miami of Ohio is the one that nobody ever gets. Oh, man, it's going to annoy me because, again, this is one of my favorite ones. Oh, son of a gun. It's not another military branch either. It's not Army. Navy was that one. Let me ask you, is it on the Eastern Seaboard?
Yes.
Okay. Harvard, but I don't think that's right.
Not an Ivy League.
It's not an Ivy Leaguer.
I even hint, both the quarterback and the president have been pretty damn relevant.
Huh. That's a good one. Eastern Seaboard. Relevant. Oh, man, that's a good one. Obviously, they're both still alive, right?
Yeah. Very much so.
Okay, very much so. Is it Trump? I don't know where Trump went to college.
No, but...
If I did, I'd get the answer to this question?
No.
Oh, okay.
But it's not Trump, but...
Oh, I know where you're going. Okay. Where the hell is it Arkansas?
No.
No, I don't know then.
So the president's Joe Biden.
Okay. I'm sorry to say I don't know where he went to college.
Okay, so I'm going to give you the school, and let's see if you can give me the quarterback.
Okay.
Delaware.
Oh, Joe Flacco.
There you go.
All right, all right. There you go. That's pretty good. Yeah. I like that. That's pretty good.
It's a morning update here on Thursday.
Wait a minute, because when I knew that trivia, Biden hadn't been the president yet. So I think I only had the 4 that I knew. That's a good one.
Very good, man.
Nice
Very
little
good.
updated trivia. I like that. Thank you very much. All right, here we go. We head over to NFL.com. Chad Ryder, we had a lot of fun with his mock draft a few days ago. He has been running through all the division rookie grades. So we did all the NFC. This morning, we get to the AFC North. Do you want me to start with the best team or the Cleveland Browns, knowing that the hint is they were not the best team?
This is just all totality of rookie grades?
Rookie grades.
Okay. I got it. Well,
what would you give the Browns? Here, I'll do it this way. I'm going to give you all the Browns rookies that qualify for this. You think the grade that Chad gave us. Round 3, Said Tillman, Siaki Ika. Round 4, DeJuan Jones, Isaiah McGuire. Round 5, DTR, Cam Mitchell. Round 6, Luke Whippler. Notable free agent signings. Diabate, the linebacker. Ronnie Hickman, the safety. And Khalif Halassi, the cornerback, who ended up having to come into a big role there at the end. What grade would you give that group of rookies?
Yeah, it's tough because obviously your outlier there is most likely DeJuan Jones, and then you factor in that we didn't have a first-round pick, so that's certainly going to hurt the stock. I'm going to say they gave us a C.
C is correct from Chad Ryder.
I think that's pretty fair.
I think it is. Cleveland did not possess a first-round pick due to Watson or a second-round pick due to Elijah Moore. Watson's injury certainly dampened things a little bit. Injuries also hit the Browns rookie class. The C grade is reflective of their overall lack of production, but I think most of them have promise, if they stay healthy in year 2, to help a team coming off a playoff berth. Tillman fought the hip issue before, again, DTR kind of went out. The biggest story certainly is DeJuan Jones. He performed well in emergency when Conklin was lost. DTR, I mean, what can you really take out of his? I actually saw promise with DTR. You know what I mean? Like, thrust into that role. The Ravens game where he found out 2 hours before that he was playing. Even the games that he was prepared. I like DTR. Friend of Big Play Cleveland, by the way, on the show last week. I think that's up there. The thing is, the other guys. Siaki Ika only played in 4 games this year.
Yeah, none of them have really, and then Isaiah Wright as well,
Isaiah McGuire.
Excuse me,
Alex Wright. You're thinking Alex Wright. Same thing, another draft pick that needed to come out. McGuire only played 4 games. Cam Mitchell, I think he found something there. He played a little bit. And I do think that Whippler could be your center of the future, depending on what happens with Posick. I think you nailed Ronnie Hickman, which is great. And then again, Diabate and Halassi, those are good finds ago. This draft coming up, too, is so important because I look at it in the round 3. Ika seems to be a miss. I'm going to hold out hope he just couldn't crack the lineup because you had other guys. You had Shelby Harris. You had Dalvin Tomlinson. This year, could you imagine how important it would be or how big it would be if Ika did turn into something?
Yeah, it'd be huge.
And I heard some things about Ika this year, that this year was almost like a red shirt, that they needed to get his weight down a little bit for what he was playing at when he came out of Baylor. And maybe that was it. Maybe this is the red shirt year. I think if you came out of a draft saying that you found a future tackle, like a really a linchpin of your offensive line for the next 10 years, you'd say that's a success. Now, the funny thing is you found him in the 4th round, the 111th pick. And, I'm also guarding myself that DeJuan Jones might have a slow year. That kind of goes back to what we were talking about with Andy Dickerson, right? Do you slide him right back in? Do you say, man, we want more development out of you. We want to see more in the offseason. Then maybe we'll give you that spot. And you got to re-sign that guy. The other thing is DeJuan Jones probably feeling like, dude, I want to go play left tackle because that's where the cash is. That's where the money is. And if he could do that, great. I just picture him as a right tackle. I think with the body size, with everything that you need, I think that's where he should be.
Man, I don't know if you know the answer to the question I'm about to ask. So, like, for instance, Tua, left-handed quarterback, right?
Yeah.
Do they gauge that based on, okay, this is my future quarterback, I got to pay my right tackle more than my left?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, because you think about, that was a big thing about when Wills was coming out because he was blocking on the blind side. The thing that I gravitate towards is, and I've heard Joe Thomas talk about this, I've heard so many linemen talk about this, they say that switching the position, it's kind of gross, and I apologize for the analogy, but it's trying to wipe with your other hand. It's that eventually you can get there, but it's hard. And they say you got to flip your feet, you got to flip your hand, your punch hand, all of those stuff. It's not that it's impossible to do, it's harder than it seems. And that's where guys get locked into positions. So he's early enough in his career, you can make that flip. Sure, do it. But I would do it sooner rather than later so we can get that practice in and potentially be it. The question is, what would be better for the Browns? To have a franchise right tackle or franchise left tackle? Easy answer would be, oh, yeah, your left tackle. But if you live in a world where Deshaun Watson can move and he does move the pocket, I don't know if it becomes that super important. And it's crazy because the left tackle for a long time was seen as the blindside protector. That was when you were blocking for guys that are statues in the pocket. Almost every elite quarterback now moves the pocket. Even Joe Flacco, at 37 years old, I'm not talking about running. I'm not talking about RPOs. They move the pocket. So I can find a way to mask over that left tackle if I need to. DeJuan Jones is a franchise tackle for 10 years. Well done. Now, this draft coming up, we got to figure some things out. I'm going to have a heart attack if they trade that second pick. And that's even if it was for a wide receiver. Because a lot of the wide receivers that are free agents, we feel like we might not get. Maybe there's a guy you feel you could trade for. I'm so scarred from that Elijah Moore trade. If the Browns trade that second round pick, I'm going to have a heart attack. I'm going to be pissed. I'm going to be really mad. And I know that we get our first back starting next year, and I can't wait for that. The future of the Cleveland Browns, I know we're in the present and we're in this era to go win. You still need to draft people. You still need to draft good players for your football team. The Browns have made a great job in free agency. You're right. What did the Chiefs do? They acquired picks.
They turned Tyreek Hill.
Picks.
They turned Tyreek Hill into Trent McDuffie and Rashee Rice.
Trent McDuffie was an all-pro this year. All-pro. They drafted Nick Bolton. You draft Drew Tranquill. You draft guys to fill in on your team and help out on rookie deals. And your dream is, yes, that they've blossomed into all-pro players and you got to pay them. Good. That's a good problem to have. What you don't want to be is the Baltimore Ravens. What did I say? Was it the 27 unrestricted free agents coming up for them? Can't pay everybody. That's where these picks are so important. That Elijah Moore trade it hurt my heart, man. And I know we all got hyped on it, and you wanted to believe that there was a point of where he could fit into this offense. Maybe he's unlocked this year. I don't know. I'm scarred. I don't want to be trading picks anymore. I'm done. I'm ready to make the edict, Ryan. I'm done trading picks for about 5 years. And that's the cream of the crop for the NFL general managers. That's one of their biggest, currencies. And your draft is where you make a name as a GM. I get that. Andrew, I'm done. Even if you miss on a couple, I just need to make these picks. I need to. I'm sick of trading them. I really am. And again, you might have some guys here that you could trade away now for some draft picks to get some stock going. We'll see. All right, so we gave the Browns a C. We'll go to the top. Of the AFC North, which team do you think had the best rookie class?
Well, so I'm trying, I don't know if I can name really more than one rookie for each team. Obviously, the big one, Baltimore, Zay Flowers was really well. You flip it over for Pittsburgh, Joey Porter Jr.
Correct.
Flip it over for Cincy, Jordan Battle.
That was a good pull there. Miles Murphy was their first round pick.
Okay. So I'm going to just say the Bengals?
No. It was the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Okay,
so they had Broderick Jones in the first round, which he didn't. He eventually came in to start.
They did. Correct me. They drafted the tight end out of Georgia.
And then Darnell Washington and a guy I wanted for the Browns so bad, Keanu Benton out of Wisconsin. They got him in the second round. So how about this? Their top three guys: Broderick Jones, Joey Porter Jr., Keanu Benton, and Darnell Washington. Between all of those guys combined, they had 38 starts between their top four guys. In the draft. That's good. And again, Washington was always playing. Benton was always playing. Porter was always playing, but you're talking about starts. That's a damn good job. That's a really good job out of the Steelers. Of course, the last thing that we wanted to see. He gave the Bengals a B+. Miles Murphy, DJ Turner, Jordan Battle. They had a lot of secondary problems that they needed to get to, and they got it done. He gave the Ravens a B. Zay Flowers was really it. None of these other guys. The only one was that Keaton Mitchell kid who's undrafted and then tore his ACL. Yeah. They got a third-round guy, Trenton Simpson, a linebacker, didn't start all year. It was heavy on Zay Flowers for that. But, dude, of course Pittsburgh just nailed their draft again. That's why I need those picks. I need to get some of those back for the Browns kind of moving forward. All right, let's catch our break. We come back. A loaded time hop again today. Ryan, I got a soft one for you when it comes to your Bearcats. Ooh. In time hop. We'll get to that.
Is that a good thing or bad thing?
It was good the day it happened. Okay. I'll tell you what it is. And I've got four 3 movies and a TV show for you to get in time up. We'll wrap up with our Seinfeld bracket, and we'll revisit everything with the Cavs. So on the All-Star break, we'll get to that coming up. Fontana Show, big play, streaming. We're up on Twitter. We're up on YouTube, streaming on Twitch. You can also follow us on Instagram at Matt Fontana Show. We got it all. Time Hop is next. Ron and I were like, hey, it's payday today. Like, you got the notification, I got the email. I was like, I forgot, it is the 15th. We get the emails from, like, there's a, whatchamacallit, HR software, like, our company uses or whatever. And I got the email. This will brighten your day, Matthew. You're getting paid today. You're damn straight it will. Hell yeah.
No kidding.
Just wait till you have kids. Daycare. Wait till you have a box of diapers. All that kind of stuff like that. But it is the 15th. It is payday. So we made it. We are here. Time up. Here we go. We head back this day on the 15th of February. Let's see what we got. All right. I mentioned that I had something about the Cincinnati Bearcats that I don't know how you'd react to. Because it was good at the time. 2 years ago today, Luke Fickell signed a 5-year extension with Cincinnati. Yep. He would leave 1 year later.
So I remember because I wrote one of my first ever stories I wrote for the school newspaper there was about that extension.
Nice.
With Fickell and how it paired up to the Big 12 coaches because that's when we were going through that kind of transition period starting that. But yeah, Fickell, I have mixed thoughts on it now.
Here's the thing. And I hate to say it, but when you're those teams, they're never gonna stay.
Well,
here's
the thing, because people talk about these stepping stone programs that they take this job, they succeed, and then they step up to the Alabamas, to the Ohio States, the Georgias, Wisconsin, whatever. I mean, like What Fickle
Yeah,
did for us was
Wisconsin, I was like,
amazing. We went to the college football playoff, the first ever non-Power 5 team, and it was an incredible run. It kind of seemed like he was clocked out at the end there, which I didn't really like. He didn't come out for like a couple months and said anything. I don't know.
Here's the craziest story. And my buddies keep texting me, they go, why do you not talk about Chip Kelly? Chip Kelly left UCLA. UCLA is not a high enough job anymore for Chip. Now, he was probably on the outs anyway, and there were people that said he should have been fired, so maybe he saw the writing on the wall. But you look at it, and why did Kalen DeBoer turn around Washington? Everybody tries to grab, it's kind of like a kicker in the NFL. You want to grab these coaches that are on the upswing. Now, there are legacy guys, your Justin Tuckers of the world. Those are your Kirby Smarts. Those are your Nick Sabans. I guess even but Dabo Sweeney's not even the same guy anymore, right? You know what I'm saying here?
Wait, Justin Tucker?
So I was talking about finding a coach in college is almost like finding a kicker in the NFL.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying.
Where you have some guys that just always stay at the top. But more often than not, you just cycle through these guys trying to find one. And you just hope that you're finding them on the good part of their career. Or a lot of times with an NFL kicker, it's what? It's somebody else that had a shot. They've been discarded, and you try to grab them. Lane Kiffin when he coached FAU or something like that. It's just always these turnover type things. All that being said, Ryan Day, people wanted him fired or not. Oh, we didn't talk about Chris Holtmann in the morning update. I know nothing of college basketball. I watched one half of Ohio State this year, and I could have told you deserved to be fired. They want to go get Jay Wright out, but it's kind of like the same thing in college basketball as college football. The thing is, you kind of want Dabo to like Clemson, right? Where he turned him around and then he stayed. And I think Fickle could have done that. But, yeah, you left for Wisconsin. Right now.
So the year before that, there were the rumors that he was going to take the Notre Dame job. But then they were saying that they wanted him to commit now, but he still had to go ahead and prepare for that Bama game in the Cotton Bowl in the playoff. And then I thought the only way he was going to leave really was if it was Ohio State. But I was a little bit shocked, but I'll just say Fickle, really nice guy. Didn't necessarily like how he left the program.
No, I completely agree with you. And college coaches very rarely leave in good graces, right? They leave for the bowl game or they leave, programs high and dry and all that. But it is funny to see that you have some that just, again, Kirby Smart, Georgia. But even now, all the top programs, Ohio State was pretty good. You went from Tressel quickly to Fickle to Urban Meyer. So now I think Ryan Day was pretty decent. But look at the turnover Texas has had. Look at the turnover. USC, after Pete Carroll ran through so many guys searching. They thought Sarkisian was the answer. Okay, he's not. Then God bless it. Who was that other USC coach that was there? They're sticking in my head. Kind of a heavier set guy. Clay Helton.
I don't
They
know.
hired Clay. Right, exactly my point. And you're talking about legacy programs. Who the Clay Helton? Who is that? Florida. There are people on Billy Napier fired. You just legacy programs. Just
Mario
chew up.
Cristobal.
Yeah, you just chew up and spit out these coaches. Oregon's happy that Dan Lanning is staying. Is Dan Lanning the answer? Is he going to be there in 5 years? College is just, you think Alabama's really happy about getting Kalen DeBoer? Probably not. Do you think they called Kirby? You think at all they called Kirby?
Nah.
I'm sure they called Dabo. I'm sure Dabo called them. No, I'm all good on Clemson. Okay, I'm sure. It's just, it's what's going to kill college football. It's the divide of the haves and the have-nots. And I've said that over and over again. It's the same thing with coaches. I know they have this new alliance that they're putting forward. Yeah, man, it's crazy times. It is absolutely crazy times. But Luke Fickell. I brought it up because I think it's so weird. Signed a 5-year extension to leave 1 year later at Cincinnati. This day, 2021, the report that the Cavs were no longer going to play Andre Drummond and search for a trade for him. They would eventually do it. Odds got released for J.J. Watt's next team in 2021. The Browns were 12-1. The funny thing, the Cardinals weren't even on the list. The Packers were the favorites. They're going to go back to Wisconsin. They didn't go there. This day, 2018, the finalists for the NFL Draft were named Cleveland, Vegas, Nashville, and Denver for 2019 and 2020. Of course, Cleveland and Nashville got it. I don't mean to get back into this whole debate about the stadium and the Super Bowl and all that. Jason Lloyd had a great article on The Athletic this morning about how you'd pay for it. And I love what Jason's saying. You got weed and you got sports gambling. Start taxing that. Tax that on top of the sin tax. You'll get your money in no time. No questions asked. About the stadium. I like how the NFL does it. You rotate your Super Bowl amongst the cities that we all know they'll get, and you give the draft to everybody else. Have the draft in Seattle. Have it in Nashville. I know Nashville doesn't have a team. Well, I guess Tennessee, yeah. But, like, you know, give it to... I'm fine with the draft. I had buddies that went to the draft. They loved it. It was awesome. Now, it's not the Super Bowl, but I tell you, I am fine with that scenario. I am so in on half of the league getting the Super Bowl, the other half you get the draft. Yeah, it's not necessarily the same economic impact. I get that, but it's something. And I think seeing the draft in different places and how they can do it differently. I know they had the boats in Vegas and all that. I thought Cleveland knocked it out of the park. I had people on the inside that helped set it all up. People that came in from out of town. Everybody had glowing reviews of how the Browns and how Cleveland handled the draft. And I hope we get one sooner rather than later. I do. I hope that happens. Sad day for a generation because this day, 2017, MC Sports filed for bankruptcy. Did you ever shop at MC Sports?
No.
They were Dick's before Dick's. They were right there in Strongsville. I got my first set of golf clubs from there. My parents had to go ad nauseum to buy wrestling headgear there because I'd always leave my wrestling headgear at a tournament or something like that. The Fontana family spent a lot of money at MC Sports in Strongsville. I think it's a Big Lots now, what it was, but RIP to MC Sports. This day, 2017. This day, 2012, Stipe Miocic got his first knockout in UFC when he knocked out Phil DeFries. I was so happy when they signed Stipe, man, and I'm waiting.
Have you seen John Jones?
Yeah, well, they called John Jones to go fight at UFC 300, and he said no.
Have you seen him?
No.
He looks fat.
I'm sure he is. He can't work out. Can't work out. I cannot tell you this. And this is a homerism, and it's Stipe. Stipe's going to knock his ass out. And I'm going to go through the roof. I'm going to place a large wager on that whenever they fight. And there's just something in the cosmos. And I have so much clarity on this one thing. He's going to beat him. I think he's going to beat him, and I think he's going to knock him out.
That'd be awesome.
Now, you want to know the second most likely scenario, and that is, Ryan? They don't even fight.
Yeah.
Which is the sad part of it. There's a sad part of that. Joe, for those who don't know, UFC, Stipe Miocic, they were supposed to fight in the fall. John Jones tore his pec and then also got elbow surgery. So now he's sitting around. They called John Jones. They said, can you fight at UFC 300, which, by the way, is going down the tubes. Not going to be as what Dana wanted it to be. I think they fight in the summer. The best thing is that they are waiting for one another. Stipe's not taking another fight, neither's John Jones. Tom Aspinall's waiting. You're going to get it. And I feel with every fiber of my being that Stipe is going to knock him out. And I can't wait for it to happen. This day, 2004, very ironic on the same day. 2004, Dale Earnhardt Jr. won the Daytona 500. 1998, Dale Earnhardt Sr. had won the Daytona 500. That was the big thing for Sr. He had never won that. 7-time Cup champion. That was the one that eluded him. Of course, he won in 98, passed away in 2001, but then Dale Jr. won it in 2004. This day, 1996, the Ravens officially fired Bill Belichick as their head coach. They were not going to take him to Baltimore. This day, 1965, Canada officially adopted the maple leaf flag that we all know as their country flag. Do you have any teddy bears, Ryan? Did you have one growing up?
I had a fascination with pigs.
Okay. The first ever teddy bear went on sale this day, 1903. Store owner and inventor Morris Mitchum placed 2 stuffed bears in his shop window after asking the blessing of President Teddy Roosevelt to use his name. He did the teddy bear.
Oh.
Now you got Build-A-Bear out the ass. My son don't really... I mean, my daughter's only 7 months old, so she just throws stuff. She doesn't know anything. We tried to get our son like a lovey just because it helps with like sleeping and stuff. He never really took to it. I don't know. We tried, gave him bears, all that kind of stuff. Dude, we're in, as parents, you know, like our son sleeps like an angel. Our daughter does not sleep at all. When they tell you, Ryan, and I don't know if you cross that bridge one day, you live your life the way you want. They always say you get one easy one and one hard one. And I can't tell you how true I think that statement is. Very happy birthday goes out to Cavs legend, Mr. Mark Price, celebrating a birthday. Paul Kruger, former Browns defensive end who stole a lot of money from this team, whatever, fine. Yamir Yager, Galileo, Susan B. Anthony, Matt Groening, Simpsons creator, Megan Thee Stallion, and I saw it from Reflog this morning, the late, great Mr. Chris Farley, celebrating a birthday today. Best Chris Farley role. Tommy Boy.
I've never seen a movie of him. We've talked about this, man.
You got to see Tommy Boy. You really need to see Tommy Boy. Chris Farley's a legend. All right, here we go. Tommy Boy is not in the flicks for today, so you're all right. One TV show and 3 movies for you today. So we start with the television show. This day, 2009. All right. A washed-up baseball player tries to make it back to the major leagues.
Eastbound and
Down is correct. I still stand that Will Ferrell as Ashley Schaefer of Ashley Schaefer BMW. One of the best, most underrated characters. Not even in just that, but of all of TV, to be honest. It was so fun.
I never watched it, but
I watched the first season of Eastbound and Down. Kind of, it is what it is, but...
What's Julian from Trailer Park Boys? What's his real name?
I don't know. I know you're talking about Julian. I don't know his real name.
Isn't that the same dude in Eastbound and Down?
No, Danny McBride.
Danny McBride.
Danny McBride plays Eastbound and Down.
Yeah, I think isn't Danny McBride in... Is he in Trailer Park Boys or am I tripping?
I don't think so.
Are they just 2 dudes with molds?
They look very similar. John Paul Tremblay plays Julian. No, they look similar. They're not the same guy.
Okay.
No, I get. I see
the vision?
100% where you're coming from. I see it. No, Danny McBride. I
in
know
Righteous
for Pineapple and Pineapple Express,
Yeah.
he's red. I don't really know much else with Danny McBride. I feel like he kind of showed up with Eastbound and Down. The other thing is he remade all the Halloween movies. Not great. I guess they're okay. Yeah, he really started with Eastbound and Down. You're right. Righteous Gemstones, This Is the End, Pineapple Express, Your Highness. He's all right. I think he's pretty funny, but Eastbound and Down. All right, you're 1 for 1. Next up, a film, this day, 2002. I will start by saying that there's a litany of quotes that I could give you from this movie because I love this movie. They made a sequel. Supposedly they're making another one. It comes from the comedic group called Broken Lizard. That do anything for you? No? Okay, fine. If I said I might go home and watch this movie right meow, would that help you with anything?
No.
No? Okay.
I don't think so.
Rabbit? Foster?
No.
Ram? Arcad Ramathorn?
No.
Rod Farva?
No.
Nothing?
No.
What?
No.
What? Farva?
No.
Do you know how fast you were going? 65? 63?
No.
This might actually be a movie you've told me you've never seen and it bothers me. Super Troopers?
Never seen it.
God bless you. Come on, Ryan.
Is that with who's in that?
Nobody. Brian Cox is the sheriff, like, from Succession and X-Men. He plays the captain, but the group is Broken Lizard. Jace Chandrasekhar and Steve Lemmy. They just canceled Tacoma Fire or FD. Those were two of those guys. They played Farva and Mac.
I know that bigger dude with the mustache.
That's Farva.
Okay.
That's Farva. That's the guy that played Farva in Super Troopers. Yes, this day 2002. All right, a little disappointed. Next up, a film this day 1985. A group of kids are sent to detention on a Saturday.
Breakfast
That
Club.
is correct. Final one this day 1950. Disney animated Lady Lost a Shoe.
Cinderella.
That is correct. Cinderella. So 3 out of 4. Not bad for you today. There in Time Hop. Again, Eastbound and Down, Super Troopers, Breakfast Club, and Cinderella. All this day in history, which is great. All right, want to dive back into the Cavs because I did want to see Ryan. How did people come out on our votes for JB Bickerstaff?
Yeah, 56.3% gave him an A.
All right, I'll listen to that.
38.4 B, just 3.6 C, and 1.8 trolling with the D.
There you go. So that's it. Cavs are in this great spot right now. We get to enjoy the weekend. Tomorrow's show, we're going to dedicate a good time on Tipico because I don't think the bets are up quite yet. Let me scroll over here. Tipico. You want to do a boost tonight? Should we do one? I might just bet. I think I'm just going to bet on Tipico tonight. No boost for us tonight. I'm just going to sit back and watch some NBA. Are those games on national tonight?
Jay Ladd on Twitter, he said his favorite game this season was the Donovan 62.
Yeah, that's a good one.
His unsung hero, that's a good one, Isaac Okoro.
That's a great call.
And then he said,
call.
Cavs graded declining B. Coach needs to stop starting games with a lineup that isn't our best.
The starting lineup is not that important. So what is he playing with 4 minutes to go in the game? I think right before half and right before the end of the game are the most important times there. I think, again, you got to work on some of the things. I don't think the starting lineup is all that important. Are these games on national TV tonight? They got to be, right? Let's see here. Stand by. Scores. Only 3 games tonight. Bucks, Grizz, Warriors, Jazz, Timberwolves, Trailblazers. Tonight, Thursday. Bucks, Grizzlies. Oh, thank God it's on TNT. All right, I was going to be pissed if I had anything to watch tonight. You like anything? Bucks -11? Kind of struggling there? Grizzlies? Cover?
I don't know, man.
Nothing? I got to bet something. I get a little action going. I bet on golf. Tiger's coming back. It's teeing off in like an hour.
I can't wait for the Masters, man.
It's going to be a lot of fun. Gonna be a lot of fun. Can't wait for that. Let's get to it, Ryan. Our bracket of the week!
All right, well, Matt's nobody's surprise. All 1 seeds advanced down to the Final Four.
I don't know if I like that, but here
Festivus,
we are.
Soup Nazi, the contest, and Shrinkage. My vote is definitely going to be Shrinkage.
I will say probably Festivus. I mean, it launched a holiday. People celebrate with the poll.
Yeah, no, it's iconic.
And it's also, I mean, of Jerry Stiller, that's the episode everybody thinks of.
Rip.
Yeah. Like, tries to wrestle George. Soup Nazi is good. The Bet, yeah, maybe the most famous. I just think when you have a show that is that powerful, that it created something that somebody celebrates, it's got to be Festivus. So we'll tweet that out at Matt Fontana Show, the finals of our bracket this week, your favorite Seinfeld show, and we'll get geared up for that. Oh, that's what I was going to do. I was going to look up NBA. I want to look up the All-Star game. Not yet. All I got is the lines. 2.5 still and 365.5. Hopefully we'll get those tomorrow. I hope we get those on Tipico. We'll bet alongside with them. Again, use that code Fontana100 when you sign up there with Tipico. Cavs, enjoy the break. Rest, it's like relative about Donovan Mitchell trying to get some rest this weekend, but for the most part, relax, get a little healthy. Ooh, Mike tweets, we could bet on the duels tonight. I should do that. You gonna watch the NASCAR tonight? Qualifying was last night.
I'm not a NASCAR guy.
You're not? I am. I did. I forgot the duels were tonight. Let's see what we got on Tipico. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate that. Michael McDowell, Joey Logano on the front row of the Daytona 500. Do you know how they do the Daytona 500? So the only ones that do this, you run out, you do your qualifying, then they have 2 qualifying races that are tonight. And you got to race. Some guys got to race their way in. The other thing, some people wreck their cars as they're trying to get ready to go. NASCAR. Oh, all I got's futures. Oh, no. I got it. Race winner. I got the Daytona 500. I can do that. Maybe I'll place a better on that for this. Top 3, team special. Ooh, I like this. Oh, man, I'm going to do this for Daytona this weekend. I could pick your winning manufacturer. You know what I started really doing? Head-to-head. They got 2 drivers. I just picked the guy that I think is going to finish ahead of that. Like Alex Bowman, Ty Gibbs.
That's what I love doing for golf.
Yeah, that's fun for golf, too. We'll do that for the Masters. Thanks, Mike. I appreciate it.
I think we should have I would love to do like a live watch party for the Masters. That'd be so, and just keep betting. That'd be so fun with Tipico.
Well, I mean, the thing is that sometimes you could bet on a hole. You could go, all right, this guy's going to par this or bogey it or whatever.
When did they release the groups?
Usually like that Tuesday or Wednesday.
Okay.
So you get the list of who makes it that week, like top 50 former Masters champions. But they will they're gonna they'll release that like the week of.
You said Tiger's the GOAT, right?
Yes, he's the greatest golfer of all. I know Bruce talked about that with Jack Nicklaus. Here's the thing. Jack is great, and he's got the majors. The sway for me is some of just those obscenely gaudy statistics with Tiger. Like, if you took his wins just in, like, the state of Texas, California, and Ohio, he's, like, 15th all-time in wins. Just in those states, or maybe Florida, or something like that. That year that he was winning every other tournament.
Yeah, that's unreal.
I mean, it's unreal. And, the marital stuff, he needs to own up for that, and he did. his back problems. Now he's got the leg. It's not out of the realm. I think he's going to win one more. And I think it'll be at Augusta. I do. It's his best chance.
If he won another one,
it's his best chance, right? Like,
yeah.
They got him at Riviera. And the other thing is, he needs to win. I don't know, before this new golf ball comes in. I don't know if he needs to win before that. But he knows Augusta better than almost anybody. And they got him at Riviera. He tees off in an hour. They were doing his practice round. Ryan, he's driving it 340 yards, 320 yards. I mean, he's back. Okay, he's back. New shoe and clothing line, be damned. Looks like crap, man. That logo looks like crap.
I don't mind it. People
now,
hating on
my
it.
best golfing polo is a Tiger Woods polo. They made some damn good polos there. All I care about is the fabric and if it fits me right. That's it. I don't care. I'm not all strung up on loyalty on a brand or anything like that. So we'll see. But Tiger tees off. We'll get into that. It's going to be a lot of fun. All right, great stuff. Appreciate everybody joining us today. We'll be back for a Friday edition All-Star Game props. We'll get it all for you on a Friday edition of the Fontana Show right here on Big Play. Appreciate everybody joining us. Go vote. Follow at Matt Fontana Show on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitch. And vote on our best Seinfeld episode. We'll talk to you on Friday. For Ryan Tyler, I'm Matt Fontana. As always, take it easy.